When I say NBA, you say breakdown.
Break it down.
I've been wanting to wear this shirt for a while now. Can you see me?
He's been working on his material for a long time now. He's working. What's up, y'all? Audley Stevenson and some guy flashed against
Dave Mandoga. This is the final online video for the NBA breakdown for 2009. Wow, the final one.
It is.
You know,
it's been a nice ride so far.
It's been great, and thank you all for checking us out. You know, on the NBABreakdown.com, on whotheman.com. And all that good stuff.
Yes.
Now, in celebration of our final show for 2009, you know what? It's the final show of the decade.
Yes, it is.
So it's sort of like a recap of the decade, you know?
Memorable moments.
Exactly.
Things that made you smile.
Smile, exactly. Okay, so first off, for you, Audley, fave championship team of this past decade.
They're going to San Antonio Spurs. They won 3 titles in the last decade, and although they didn't win back-to-back titles, they were still consistent. They weren't the flash. They were very vanilla, if you will, very bland. But these guys just went about the workman style and did their thing. You know, Duncan was solid. Guys like Tony Parker, especially on the second championship, Tony Parker stepped up, and he was their MVP. I mean, and then of course Greg Popovich, he came through and demonstrated that he's an awesome coach. And I thought the Spurs just demonstrated a whole lot of dominance. Again, workman type effort. They just went out and did their job and consistent. Duncan is just the guy's a pro. So that'd be my team.
And you know what? The Spurs, whenever the Spurs are mentioned, you never hear dynasty. Why is that? It's because they play that kind of basketball that's not flashy, it's not high tech, it's just fundamentals. That's what Tim Duncan's all about. But personally, I think the Spurs were a dynasty. I thought they were a dynasty.
So the fact they didn't get back-to-back, that didn't bother you?
No. They racked up 3 titles?
Yeah, 3 titles
in this decade, and they got one before that with the Twin Towers. Dave Russ.
Yes. His final year in the league, he retired as an NBA champion, David Robinson, which was awesome.
Right. Well, he had 2. Remember, he had 2 championships with the Spurs. Yeah, Spurs won against the Knicks in the '99 season, and then they won. It's okay. This guy. It's been a
good 10 years. I gotta say, man.
It's all right. It's all right. Anyway, so my pick is actually the Detroit Pistons. I don't know if you guys know. I'm sure you do. Of course you do. 2004 against the Lakers. The Lakers were a big-time favorite. They had Karl Malone, Kobe, Shaq, Gary Payton. They had everybody, and they were expected to blow the Pistons out. But this Pistons team, they were all about defense back then. Like Larry Brown was the coach. You had Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Richard Hamilton.
They brought Rasheed in for that.
They traded for him, exactly. They had Mehmet Okur. They had a lot of guys on that team. And they shocked the Lakers in 5 games. And for me, that was the upset of the decade. And I thought they were the team of the decade. No one expected them to do a thing. And I know it was just 1 title, but I thought it was a really big...
Well, I was going to make that point. 1 title and they're the favorite.
But
considering the Lakers got 4 in that decade, the Pistons got 1. And they're still your favorite team?
You know what?
Your favorite team, 1 title.
I loved it. I loved how they played.
I don't want to make it sound like only 1 title.
Right.
They played an NBA title, huge thing. But it was only 1 title.
But you know what? They brought their lunchboxes to work, man. They were hard-working guys. No one expected anything from them, Sort of like you and I, man. We're just 2 pluggers, man. We're just 2 pluggers, And you know what? At the end of the day, just check the resume. You see for the Pistons, NBA championship, the NBA breakdown.
Oh, man. Google.
That's what you have to do, guys. Just check the resume. Okay, moving forward. Best rivalry for the decade.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Kings, Sacramento Kings and the LA Lakers. A little while back, Dave and I had an opportunity to interview Doug Christie. And Doug Christie told us, who actually was a guard with the Sacramento Kings, we should clarify that. Yeah. He actually said that the LA Lakers weren't there, that the Sacramento Kings probably would have won 2 or 3 titles in that last decade. So that really shows me how confident he was in his team, but in fact how good the Lakers were. And that made for a nice little rivalry. And of course, Shaq, he's always good for a little chuckle here and there, and he was calling them the Sacramento Queens, and that just added fuel to the fire. So yeah, I like that.
Well, I thought that was a good one, but for me, it's actually a player versus player.
Okay.
Shaq versus Kobe. These guys had monster egos. These guys were walking corporations, and You know, and they were battling for the ball. They were battling for a lot of different things. And I thought it was really interesting how that drama played out amongst that team and how Phil Jackson was trying to get these guys to work together. And I just found it really fascinating to see these guys who are extremely talented and who really think they're all that. And for them to like team up on the court but be away from the court and just hate each other.
You're right. The Eagles were huge and monstrous. It was huge. I mean, huge Eagles. Like definitely. I mean, Kobe and Shaq, and they both want to establish themselves as, you know, who the man, like that? Who the man? How do you like that, Megatron? Who the man? So, you know, that was really huge. And then, of course, the LA Lakers had to make a decision when it came time to either, you know, re-sign Shaq.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they had to deal with Kobe's contract, and you know, at the time, Shaq's, you know, his work ethic was a bit questionable, and it was okay. Do we, you know, sign up Shaq? And you know, he's questionable. He's at the stage of his career where you know he's kind of getting older, and he might be slowing down. And you got a young star that's budding in Kobe Bryant, and what do you do? So it's really interesting when the Lakers made that move and traded him off to Miami, and that just added to the rivalry you're talking about.
You know, Audley, that Who the Man reference, I think as a result of that, they just extended your contract for about 3 days. Okay, my favorite player for the past decade, Shaquille O'Neal. Like Audley mentioned a quote when Shaq was referring to the Sacramento Kings, just saying, you know, when he said the Sacramento Queens and stuff like that, this guy was dominant, the most quotable guy. I love his personality.
Yeah.
He said whatever was on his mind. There was no filter. And you know what? I loved him for it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Shaq, I mean, he established himself this last decade, and it's a shame that people will probably remember his career for what he's done at the tail end of this year in the last 10 years. Because, you know, early in this decade, he won MVP titles, NBA title championships.
Yep.
You know, he was dominant.
Anyway, your favorite player for the decade?
I like AI. I mean, Allen Iverson, again, much like Shaq, he's going to be remembered for what's happened in the last part of his career. But earlier on, I mean, this guy's got scoring titles, an MVP, took the Philadelphia 76ers to the NBA Finals. You know, little man, big heart. You know, it's just, I mean, what this guy did on the basketball court with his skill sets and his size was just unheard of. I mean, we've had a lot of great small players do a lot of wonderful things, but Allen Iverson, he really moved that bar up to a whole new level. So I'd have to give it to Allen Iverson for the last 10 years.
I just think it's a shame that this past year, you know, the crybaby has come out in this guy. It's, you know, I've always remembered him as a warrior. This is a guy who would play with like broken limbs. And how about a favorite moment from the past decade?
Vince 2000. I mean, you know, what that guy did he brought back the slam dunk contest like you never believe. And also, again, being two Toronto guys, he put the Toronto Raptors on the map for sure. You gotta feel good about that. But his performance in 2000 slam dunk contest is just absolutely ridiculous.
Which dunk did you like the best? Oh, nice.
That's the one. Like that one?
Not the hanger when he's like...
No, not that one.
No?
That's the one.
But I thought he brought back the thunder.
Yeah, he did.
The concept.
Yeah, he did.
You know, because nowadays it's all about the gimmicks. But back then, like when he just threw down those dunks, it was just with ferocity. And wasn't it Shaq or something? Whoa!
It was something else. And it was like people were dying to see what he was going to do next. What the next one was. And, you know, he could have won it off the first dunk. He could have won off the first dunk, and you just had to see more. And it was crazy. The whole, it's over! Right. It's over! For sure.
Well, my favorite moments of the past decade was actually Game 7. 2000 Western Conference Finals, Lakers, Blazers. Lakers down 15 in the fourth quarter. 15, and the Lakers go off on a 15-0 run. Ridiculous. They go on to win the game. They beat Rasheed Wallace and his boys, and that was the start of the 3 straight NBA championships.
Scottie Pippen was on that team.
Scottie Pippen, Bonzi Wells was on that team.
Steve Smith was still on that squad.
Might have been. I think he was. So I thought that was a pivotal moment in this past decade for the Lakers. It started 3 straight championships.
And remember that alley-oop with Shaq? That's a huge play. I mean, you've seen it. Like when he came down, and running down the court. That was huge.
So that was my moment. I thought that was a fantastic moment. And oddly, man, that was the decade.
It's been a great 10 years, man. It's been a great 10 years. I can't wait for the next 10.
2010 is going to be massive for the NBA Breakdown, keepwiththeman.com.
Sure.
Everybody, thank you so much for your support. We wish you all the best in the new year. Take care and keep watching us.
This is the NBA Breakdown, y'all. Peace.
Later.